Hi guys, it's Michelle. Today's video is going to be another childhood ruining conspiracy theories. I love filming childhood ruining videos and I haven't done one in a few months. I think childhood ruining theories are like way more fun sometimes because real theories kind of scare me a little bit. It's fun to do something that's like kind of lighthearted, even though like some of the theories themselves are kind of dark, but like it's about a TV show, so who cares? You know what I mean? Childhood ruining conspiracy theories have been my favorite ever since the theory that Freddie Benson from iCarly is really Barry B. Benson's son because the mom looks like the mom from iCarly, and honestly, where's Freddie's dad? And because he looks like a fucking bee. In general, I think stuff like that's really funny. This is more like darker shit, but either way, pretty cool, so let's get into it. Okay, the next conspiracy theory is something that we talked about before. However, I have a completely different outlook on this conspiracy theory now than I did in the previous video, but I will link the previous video below. But basically, Drake and Josh, I talked about how people think it's a reality show, and I said that I didn't believe it because I said it didn't make sense. But then someone pointed out to me something that makes a lot of fucking sense for it to be a reality show. Basically, the theory goes that Drake and Josh is completely a reality television show, which would explain the fact that Drake and Josh are talking to a camera in the beginning of each episode. So it's kind of like interviews. Like if you ever watch any reality show, basically ever, they all have like the interview kind of portion. Like Big Brother, they go into the diary room, or like Dance Moms, they have the interview sessions to just kind of recap what the person is thinking at that particular time. Although Drake and Josh isn't really set up like that, it kind of starts with the interview and that kind of sets the tone for the entire episode and what is going to go on in that episode. So basically the theory is that Drake and Josh is actually meant to be a reality show. And like the theory is that it is a reality show in the Nickelodeon universes. Like iCarly, Sam and Cat, Victorious. I find this theory to be actually super interesting, and I didn't believe it at all before, but then I was kind of connecting the dots, and someone pointed out to me the fact that Helen is a big role in this, and so is Crazy Steve. As you probably remember, there were many episodes of iCarly, Victorious, where they were watching Drake and Josh. Like Drake and Josh was just a show that was on that they were watching. The theory is that in those shows that Drake and Josh is a reality show. Like it would just be like if you were watching Big Brother, just like any other reality show, or The Real Housewives or something like that. This theory, to me, it didn't make any sense until people brought up Helen and Crazy Steve. So in Victorious, which we know lives in the same universe as iCarly, which definitely in iCarly there is a clip of Carly watching Drake and Josh. The theory is that they're just watching a reality show and that these people are real people and are separate from Carly and Spencer, because obviously those are played by the same characters as Crazy Steve and Megan, Miranda Cosgrove and Jerry Trainer. However, according to this theory, that doesn't really matter. They just are lookalikes. Like everybody, I guess, has a celebrity that they think they look like or whatever. Say there was a reality show with Ariana Grande on it, and like Emery Bingham would be watching it being like, that's me, but like it's not actually her. You get what I'm saying? Basically that's the theory, and what kind of proves it is that, like I said, Victorious and iCarly definitely exist in the same universe because they had a crossover, and of course Sam and Cat as well. In Victorious, if you guys remember, Helen from Drake and Josh actually comes to be Hollywood Arts' new principal, and it's not a different character, it's Helen. Like she says that she's Helen, she says that she used to work at the premiere, like it's Helen, like it's meant to be Helen from Drake and Josh. So the only way that that would make sense is that if Drake and Josh were a reality show. Not only that, but Sam and Cat also shows Crazy Steve in a mental hospital, and it's Crazy Steve. So the literal only way that that can make sense is if those characters weren't actually characters at all, and they are in fact reality TV show stars. And I just feel like it makes so much sense now. I don't know if that was like Dan Schneider's actual intentions when creating the different shows, but it does actually, you know, kind of make sense, and it kind of does add up. But what do you guys think? Do you believe it? Do you think that Drake and Josh was a reality show. Next conspiracy theory also comes from Nickelodeon, and it is all about the Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom. You guys might have heard this theory before. It's actually quite popular. Basically, a lot of people think that Timmy Turner is actually Danny Phantom. Now, obviously they have different names, they have different lives. Timmy Turner found out that when he turns 13 years old, his Fairly Godparents disappear. They become figments of his imagination, and there's nothing that he can pretty much do about it until he comes up with a loophole, which the loophole is to create his own universe, just a completely different universe where they can't get caught, where Cosmo and Wanda can visit anytime. And this universe is the Danny Phantom universe. So he lives his life as a fun little ghost hunting teenage boy. The basic run for this theory, like why people believe it, is the character connections. People think that Danny Phantom's friends look a lot like Timmy Turner's friends, which is very true. Timmy Turner's crush, Trixie Tang, turns into Danny Phantom's crush, Paulina. Timmy also has a friend that he doesn't have a crush on, which is Tootie, and she looks a lot like Sam, who is also his friend but doesn't have a crush on. Parents look a lot alike as well, and of course Timmy Turner and Danny Phantom look pretty similar too. He got Cosmo and Wanda when he was 10 years old, and being told that that's gonna be ripped away from you when you turn 13 is kind of upsetting. I would be really pissed. So I would probably find any way that I could keep Cosmo and Wanda around. Especially because you have to erase them from your memory. That's so sad and messed up. So imagine finding that out. And I was told that that was actually what happened to Crocker, is that that's why he's crazy, is because he had Cosmo and Wanda when he was a kid, and he has some memory linkage. Timmy wanted to avoid all of this happening, so he broke the rules and kind of bent the rules, I guess, created his own universe where nobody would ever find out, and where Cosmo and Wanda could still be with him and he could still remember them. He would just have to live his life as a fucking ghost slaying bitch. What's the bad deal with that? Literally is just living in his own universe now. I kind of believe it. And at first I was kind of whatever. Then the creator of both Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom, Butch Hartman, actually made a video about it, and I'll link his video below because I really liked it and I thought it was cute. He was saying that the theory made a lot of sense. He didn't say if that was his intentions or not, but I think he just didn't want to ruin the theory for anybody. I don't know if, I don't think that those were his intentions, but then again, the characters are strikingly exact. The friends and stuff, those, it's a little too weird, you know? I think he did kind of have the theory in mind, just not maybe as full out as some of the fan theories. Maybe he just wanted it to be kind of a grown-up version of Timmy Turner, because basically that's what it looks like. It looks like a teenage version of Timmy Turner and his friends. The next conspiracy theory revolves around Full House, and I'm honestly shocked that I haven't ever really noticed any of these inconsistencies, but there are so many inconsistencies with Full House. So many just huge ones that I honestly am really shocked that I haven't noticed. The first inconsistency is something that I have realized before, which is that Jesse Katsopoulos's name was different in the first season. His name was Jesse Cochran, which is just really random. They just decided to make him Greek, so they decided to change his name to Jesse Katsopoulos. At first I was that's just probably a mistake, they just wanted to change it so they could give him a Greek storyline later on. Then just some of the inconsistencies are so weird that I'm just why are there fucking so many? So let's keep going. You guys know I love Full House, and I truly think that anybody who didn't grow up watching Full House is probably a serial killer. Not to be dramatic, but yeah, so Full House was my shit as a kid. DJ, who was played by Candace Cameron, had an episode where her favorite cousin visits her. Now her cousin Steve is actually played by Kirk Cameron, which is Candace Cameron's real life brother. This was a random episode, but they basically talk about how they had a really close bond as cousins, you know? And it never fucking occurred to me who the hell's child this is. Who is Steve? Danny Tanner has one sister named Wendy, which we find out later, and Wendy does not have any children. DJ's mother, Pam, has one brother, and her brother is Uncle Jesse, and obviously Steve is not Jesse's kid. So who the fuck is, it's impossible for them to be cousins, at least first cousins. We're unaware of their, you know, extended family, I guess. But it just is weird because like who's that close with like your second cousin? Like, you know what I mean? Like who's really like that close with them? I guess if you don't have any other cousins, but like obviously like Nikki and Alex came later. I don't know if they just wanted Kirk Cameron to like play a role and they just threw him in. But like I never noticed how little that makes sense, but it's literally impossible for them to be cousins. Another really huge inconsistency is that they talk about Uncle Jesse graduating high school in the first season, but then later they talk about how Uncle Jesse has to go back to school and take night classes so that he can graduate. And there was even a whole episode where like they were stuck on the subway when they were trying to get to Jesse's high school graduation like years later because he finishes night classes, you know what I mean? So like I just think that's really fucking weird too, because it's just a really random inconsistency. Not only that, but Steve, like DJ's boyfriend Steve, was at first named Steve Peters, which later was changed to Steve Hale. I just think like that one's just kind of pointless, like, you know what I mean? Like why? Because like you know, I get the Greek one, like they wanted to give him a storyline about being Greek, but like Steve Hale? Like, hello. Basically, what do all these little inconsistencies mean? And also, did you ever notice them? Let me know in the comments below if you ever noticed any of those inconsistencies, especially the cousin one, because I'm so weirded out that I never noticed that. But let me know in the comments if you notice any of them before I tell you the theory of why they exist. So basically, there's a theory that anybody that's named Steve in the show is a time traveler. And if you want to get into Uncle Jesse, basically Uncle Jesse, if you remember, had an evil cousin who was his like exact twin named Stavros. So that's where they're getting Steve from on that. I'm not really going to go into because it doesn't really make sense to me that Stephanie is also a time traveler, because Stephanie is the female version of the name Steve, which like not really, but I was like, okay, well maybe it is. But they basically said that Stephanie is actually a time traveler as well, and that she is Michelle from the future, and basically created herself as the role of Stephanie so that younger Michelle would have a older sister to look up to that wasn't so old in age, because like DJ and Michelle's age difference is like 9 years, so they wanted to have like a middle child. I don't really believe the Stephanie part. But anyway, basically this theory comes from the fact that Steve Urkel is also in this universe. Steve Urkel is one of DJ's friend's cousins, and he comes to visit the Full House set. Steve Urkel is from Family Matters, and in an episode of Family Matters, Steve Urkel actually invents a working time machine. If time travel exists in the Family Matters universe, then that means that it exists in the Full House universe as well. And I do think that it is kind of weird that all the inconsistencies have to do with people named Steve. Because obviously Steve the boyfriend, Steve the cousin, and then Uncle Jesse, who has a cousin named Stavros. That one's a little bit of a stretch. And then of course, Steve Urkel. Basically the theory is that all of those people are time travelers, and that is why there are so many inconsistencies when it comes to them. I don't fucking know, dude. I just thought it was weird that there were so many inconsistencies. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they're time travelers? Like, I never really believe theories like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments below. The last show that we're gonna be talking about is one of my favorites, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. First of all, there's a Mandela effect for this one. Not really a Mandela effect, but I'm just more so confused. I grew up and always thought that everybody preferred Zack over Cody. 100%. Because Zack was the bad boy, he was cool, he was the cute one. I always remember Zack being the cute one. And now I swear to God, every time I come across somebody, they always say that Cody was their favorite and that Cody was the cute one to them. And I'm honestly just concerned about that. And I tweeted it. I got like a lot of likes for me. So I guess a lot of you guys are confused about it too. Because I swear to God, everybody loved Zack and didn't like Cody. Because Cody was a loser. He literally wore like fucking sweater vests. And everyone made fun of Cody for being a nerd. So like, I'm just confused. Not that there's anything wrong with being a nerd, but like, you know what I mean? Wasn't Zack like the one that like the ladies man that everybody wanted? I don't know. What do you guys remember? Seriously on that one. But we have another Sweet Life of Zack and Cody conspiracy theory. It has to do with the haunting of Suite 613. Oh shit, this ghost the ghost of Suite 613 was the fucking scariest scariest shit on Disney Channel of its time. Basically, the theory of the ghost of Sweet 613 is that the ghost, Irene, is actually Muriel. So I saw this theory and I just thought it was too interesting to pass up. Honestly, it makes me feel a little bit less scared thinking that the ghost was Muriel and not just like some random creepy lady. So I was here for it. Basically, the reason people think the ghost is Muriel is because she is the one that tells the story. And of course, London knows the story as well, but London has been living at the Tipton literally since birth. Muriel has been working there for years, so obviously Muriel probably just told London the story. Basically, Muriel tells the kids the story about how a beautiful rich woman named Irene checked into the hotel in 1942 with her husband. Her husband left for war and she waited 3 years for him thinking that he was in the war, and then found out that he actually just left her for an Italian woman and created a pizza parlor in Naples. Which, you know, is fun. She got so angry that she took a silver hairbrush, threw it at the mirror, and one of the shards of glass killed her. Is basically how the Muriel explains the story. And a bunch of creepy things happen, but then it's later found out that it was just Cody and the other workers in London trying to scare Zack. So that was like the whole point of it, is that it wasn't real. But then, of course, Cody fucking left his blanket like a dumbass bitch in Sweet 613. Zack and Cody head back to Sweet 613 to grab the blanket, and the ghost of Irene walks out of the bathroom, gives Cody the blanket, and then walks back into her picture on the wall, which was the most terrifying thing that I've ever seen as a fucking 12-year-old. So it's proven that the ghost of Sweet 613 is a real ghost. Why would it be Muriel? Well, basically, obviously, if the ghost of Sweet 613 still lives at the Tipton, then that means that she's probably stuck in some sort of purgatory or some sort of in-between after she died there. The theory is, since that she's stuck there, she got fucking bored, because at one point they were still renting out Sweet 613, but once guests began to claim that it was haunted, they decided to stop renting it out, so Irene probably got fucking bored. So basically the theory goes that she took on the form of Muriel, began to live her life as one of the housekeepers at the Tipton, because in this series, a ghost can take any form that it wants to, so it took the form of a redheaded lady who is iconic. So that's basically the theory, is that she was fucking bored in purgatory and decided, I guess I could work at the hotel and, like, you know, interact with people and not scare them, because she doesn't have to be a ghost. Just like how she interacted with Zack and Cody when she gave Cody the blanket, she wasn't giving it to him as a ghost, but then she walked into the picture, which was the only thing that indicated that she was the ghost, other than the fact that she looked exactly like the picture, but whatever. Still interacted with them as a normal human being, you know what I mean? This theory though kind of was a little bit masked by the fact that there was an episode where Muriel is shown to be young and she like talks about her past at the Tipton, and the year was like 1938. However, then when she quit in 2006, it also says that she's been working there for over 40 years. But if she was working there for over 40 years, then that's not 1938. That would be 1966. And if she was working there since 1938, she could easily say she was working there for over 60 years. Not, why would you say over 40 years if you've been working for 68 years? You know what I mean? So basically the theory goes with that, is that perhaps Muriel was just off on her dates, and that some of it doesn't make sense because obviously 1938 is before Irene died in 1942. That's the theory. I choose to believe it because Muriel is a fucking icon. It's just fun to think that she could have been like a ghost this whole time. So Muriel is literally just a ghost according to this theory, and she just goes around. Also explains why she doesn't do her job and doesn't get fired. She's known to be like lazy as fuck in the housekeeping world, which is honestly iconic, but a bitch still keeps the job because can't really fire her because she literally doesn't exist. Like, she's a ghost. And also can't leave the Tipton. I don't know. I thought the theory was kind of interesting, kind of creepy, and anything that makes Sweet 613 a little bit less scary of an episode, I'm here for. So now next time I watch it, I'm just gonna watch it as if that's Muriel. So I'm gonna be less creeped out. That is it for today's childhood ruining conspiracy theories. Which one did you guys find to be the most believable? I think the Zack and Cody one is pretty interesting, TBH, but also Danny Phantom for sure. Drake and Josh, I say, would be the most believable theory. But what do you guys believe? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other childhood ruining conspiracy theories, leave them in the comments as well. I would love to read them. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram because I'm always posting really dope ass shit on there. Subscribe for new videos every week, and I will see you guys later. Bye!